Namaste, beautiful soul. Welcome to the Blooming Lotus Healing Channel. My name is Jikara, and I'm a spiritual healing facilitator. And today we're going to be talking about soul creation and kind of paint a little bit of a picture of the process of soul creation and how we go from oneness to duality. But before we get started, I kind of want to drop into the essence of gratitude and take a moment to thank all of my supporters, those who are part of the Cosmic Light Activation. I am so grateful for you. Um, I just cannot describe how grateful I am to have your support and to be able to be of service to you in a way that supports you and be in that essence of reciprocity. So I'm super grateful for you. If you want to be part of the Cosmic Light Activation membership, I want to invite you to take a moment to go into my website, thebloominglotushealing.com, and sign up for my email list. I am opening the doors to join, but it's only going to be open for those who are part of the email list. In order for you to receive the link to join, you have to sign up for my email list. So all you have to do is go to thebloominglotushealing.com, scroll all the way down at the bottom of the first page. There's going to be a little bit of a subscribe little button area, and so a little section there. So just go ahead and put your email and your information and subscribe so that you can receive the email invitation when I open the membership for those who want to join. So I kind of wanted to also ask you if this is your first time here, I want to ask you to share and like this video and also take a moment to subscribe to this channel, so that way you know when, and turn on the bell so that way you know when I post a video next. So enough about this. I kind of want to dive into this conversation today. I was actually teaching the Beloved Method class, and I just thought about it. And I was like, you know what, this is something I feel can potentially help people understand soul relationships. I know that I've posted some videos on the types of soul relationships here, which I'm going to leave that video on the description below, so that way you can watch that and learn about the twin flames and twin flames and flame siblings and flame cousins and beyond, and the oversoul. I have a video that kind of describes a little bit of that. But I had a question come through from one of the subscribers here, and the question was along the lines of, like, I still can't understand or wrap my head around the idea of soul relationships. And so I thought about it, and I thought, well, maybe if I go a little bit like towards the beginning of time, let's just say, at the soul level, maybe that can potentially help. So today I just happened to be sharing this with my students in the class for the Beloved Method class. And for those of you who don't know, I'm teaching a class on how to clear and heal through your Akashic Records. And it's basically a chart system that I've created that helps you learn about your soul relationships, and also learn about the reason why people are in your life, and also to clear stuff from at the Akashic level. So I see my cat coming this way, so don't be surprised if he comes in. So anyway, as I speak, he's always, every time he hears me talk here, he just wants to come in. So anyway, just coming into the space of the invitation of going back to the beginning of time, right? So like if you think about the beginning of time, when the universe, spirit, God, however we want to call it, right? There was in essence a void, right? Like there was a void, there was nothing. And in a way, it's kind of like there's really nothing happening at that stage. And it's just really just this beautiful space of peace and tranquility, right? That's the true nature of the universe. And so, or the true nature of spirit is to be in that beautiful space of just nothingness, right? And of course this is spoken about in many books and many religions. But really honing into the space of oneness, right? Like we've heard about this essence of oneness. So like we are really all coming from the same soul, from a same big soul, which is the all. Okay. And so if you kind of look at your And here's my cat. If you kind of look at, the way that whenever we go to places of worship, we kind of call each other brother or sister. And there's a reason why we do that, because there is truth in essence, in the fact that we are all coming from that one place, from that one space. Now, because we have the reality, we will live in this reality, this duality, which is here on this planet, and we're inside this body, and we feel into the illusion of separation. Sometimes it's a little hard for us to even fathom that, because it's like, well, I mean, I am me and you are you. Like, how are we just one? But what I want to invite you to do is to really see beyond the body, right? To kind of give yourself permission to look beyond, or to imagine yourself as a energetic being. And so when you look at that, then you can see how we are all, in essence, energy, right? And so this energy is coming from somewhere, and it's stemming from that one place. So the universe, God, spirit, however you want to call it, wanted to get to know itself. So in that process of wanting to get to know itself, it starts kind of like introducing the essence of separation, right? Like, there's really no separation, but the essence of separation. And in this idea of separation, right, there is kind of like, there's different levels of, right, that happen, when it comes down to levels of separation. And I feel that when it comes down to the 3D, the separation tends to be a little, of course, is more intense, because the reality, that we have here is really, that duality, that good or bad, that I am me and you type of thing. This is where we really truly experience the most extreme, um, you know, expression of separation, okay, and that illusion. But there are less extreme versions of it in all of the different levels. So when we come in from that oneness, we kind of start getting separated into these different, as little pieces of spirit, right? And so we are whole, like we're kind of like made in the image as a whole being, and what we call a soul. But this soul is a little piece of spirit, right? But it is a kind of like a reflection of the greatness of the universe, right? Like, we are all that mini reflection, if that makes any sense, right? Of the universe. So when that happens, there's almost like this really beautiful organization that happens at the energetic level, at the soul level, where there's groups of souls that kind of come together. And these groups of souls are what people tend to talk about, the soul family. And so when we talk about the soul family, we have different expressions of the soul family. There's going to be different archetypes. There's going to be different energies that are going to be expressed, because remember, there's going to be a need to express in multidimensional ways, and in different ways, in different colors, different, textures, different. Think about, just in nature, we have different flowers, we have different expressions of the same, of a flower, right? But there's still a flower, right? But there's going to be different expressions of it. It's kind of the same thing at the soul level, when it comes down to the expression of the soul and where it belongs, in what family it belongs to. And, in essence, I want to say the flavor or the color, right, of that soul. And that's gonna be like an overall archetype that is going to accompany that soul. So, so with that said, we have all of these different souls that come together, and they, depending on where they live, right, they're going to be either, considered part of an oversoul from each other, or they're going to be considered part of a flame type of relationship. And flame relationships are basically relationships that are very, very close to us at the soul family level, right? And then that's where we, have the terms, for example, of twin flame, and then of course flame siblings and flame cousins, which I like to call them that way, because it kind of gives us an idea, an understanding of where they belong. So, but you got to remember that all of this is happening, um, almost in this beautiful divine expression of organization, right? Like everything is kind of very organized and methodical, right? And then it's intelligent, right? Because everything in the universe, if you think about it, is it's intelligent. It's sentient. It has a reason to be and to exist. And the reason to be and to exist is going to play out and is going to be expressed um, based on how this being was made. And what I mean by that is, for example, humans, we are an expression of the universe and of the great loving spirit, right? We are one of those expressions, right? And so we are going to human. That's how we're going to expand into our expression, into the human aspect. Then you have, for example, a cat. The cat's going to be an expression of the universe, but the cat is going to cat, right? And then you're going to have, a deer, and the deer is going to deer, or a fish, and so on. But anyway, and I'm just kind of giving you examples that are, um, uh, you know, um, um, I guess the best way that I can say that they are understandable at like at the earth level, because it's kind of hard sometimes to wrap our heads around these concepts, because again, it's just kind of like it's so vast and so big. So anyway, so what I wanted to say here is that so when you start seeing that we come from the one great spirit, from the one universe, from the one God, from the one fabric, and we are one piece of that fabric. And as that one piece of the fabric, we are complete in our own way. But we are also part of that puzzle, right? Like we're making, our expression and our decisions and our actions and everything that we do as a soul are definitely, contributing to the greater fabric of the universe. Okay, so when we look at ourselves in that way, then we can really understand that also, if that's the case individually for us, then we can also recognize that when we interact with other souls, right, depending, regardless, right, or not depending, but really regardless of whatever relationship that we have to that soul, we are impacting each other in some shape or form, right? And we have contracts with each other that kind of brings us together for either a lifetime or for a certain amount of time. Maybe it could be, for a short time, certain period of time, or maybe a short period of time, maybe like a day or two, or even a few seconds, just by looking at each other. There could be so many ways that we're impacting each other, right? In this beautiful space. And so when we start to recognize that not only are we impacting the greater fabric of the universe, because we come from that oneness, we can also recognize that there is a purpose, right, on the experience of interactions with other souls. Like, we are helping each other in our path, in our journey. Now, another thing that I kind of wanted to mention in regards to this is that it's important to remember that when we come down here to earth, and this is something that I was telling my students today, is like, we are badasses. The fact that we're here on earth, that comes to show how much work we've done already before we came down, right? So imagine being in this beautiful, comfortable room of spirit, right? Of the universe. We're comfortable, we're living in love and light, and it's all great and dandy. But then we choose to come down, right? We choose to come down to earth to really feel and live the full capacity, the full expression of both sides of the coin, right, of the duality. Because the duality kind of comes in, it's integrated, or it's really expressed right before we come here onto the 3D, right? So when we're coming down from, we have the 12D all the way down to the 1D, right? And so, but when we're coming from the 12D, we're kind of coming down, 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 down. It's kind of like taking all these little classes. Imagine we're coming down, and I know it sounds kind of strange, because we are kind of here, in this planet, we go up when we're learning. Here we're kind of going down, preparing, right? Preparing, almost like, imagine like preparing at the intellectual level, if that makes sense, at the spiritual mind. We're being prepared for the experience of separation. But once we come here to the 3D, right? To this environment here on earth, that's when we are really learning the expression, and not only learning just by knowing, but learning by experience. And that is the true expression, right, of what or the expression, or really description of and reason why we're here on earth. We're here on earth really to learn. We descend to learn, so we can learn how to ascend back. So here is where we really, hone the skills of recognizing the importance of alchemy, the importance of role playing in each other's lives, and the importance of really recognizing, coming from the dark to the light, from the light to the dark. All of these things we learn, and then we have to unlearn to go back, right, to the up to the 5D. Which I was kind of watching a video. I can't remember the name of of the YouTube channel. Someone was sending me this, or sending us in on a group, a chat, this video about all of the dimensions. And I really resonated so much with this video, and I think I'm going to leave it somewhere in the description below so you guys can watch it. But I was really resonating with this video so much because what he was explaining about, the unlearning, right? And how that was so triggering for a lot of us, because we're living in these timelines where, where the reality of the trauma, of the victimization that we experience, all of this is still kind of like expressing, and, we're kind of moving through that. And so, but when we allow ourselves to really remove ourselves from those experiences, and we can try to see things from that higher perspective. This is why I love working in the Akashic Records, because it kind of gives you this beautiful higher perspective that allows you to really integrate the lessons, right? Or to at least have a north, towards where you are heading, right? And not feel so stuck in all of these things that are happening. For example, I can give you a real life example. One of the things that I've been experiencing, that's been really difficult for me, it's my relationship with the mother of my husband's mother, so my mother-in-law. And so that's been a struggle for me. It's been, it's been something, because I mean, we all have. Well, I'm human, right? Like I also experience struggles in my life, even though I'm doing these videos, and I'm doing clearings and stuff for people, and I'm, we also have to have experiences so we can learn and expand. One of the things that I've noticed that I am so grateful for, because I'm working in the records, and because I am aware of the fact that there's greater reasons why things happen. I understand at the soul level, right? Like this interaction that is happening. Yes, of course, the ego is involved, and of course we feel what we feel because we're here on this earth. So we're here to be in the embodiment of being human. So we are still allowed to feel all of the negative and positive emotions. All of this stuff it's part of the experience, right? So it's like really being in that acceptance. But what I really love about being able to understand the dynamic, right, that is happening at the soul level, that allows me to have a north towards, okay, this is what's happening, and this is where I need to, work towards towards healing this part of myself, right? And so, but even furthering this out into the space of understanding that me being aware of this and also working towards healing this stuff, it's really helping the entire planet. And I'm not the only one, right? I'm not that special. Everyone that is doing so, even you you're watching this and you're working towards, you know, towards helping yourself in healing. You truly are helping the planet, because that is really where it starts. It starts with ourselves. It starts with our own expression, with our own intentions, with our own um, um, decisions, right? That we start, shifting and shifting and shifting. And as we continue to shift, then we start shifting things around us. That doesn't mean that things, that the other person is going to shift, because that's not always the case. They may have a sacred purpose in your life, and also in their own life, where they're not meant to shift. However, for those who are in need to receive the shift, or those who not I don't want to say in need, but those who are ready to receive the shift that you are doing, they're going to receive that shift. And they're going to shift with you, right? Shift forward with you. And so what I mean by this is that, um, recognizing, right, the oneness of how each one of us play a very beautiful and significant part in each other's lives, and how the soul relationship is a different layer that we want to continue to accept and invite to reflect upon, right? To really recognize that the soul relationships and the soul is here to really do some beautiful miraculous work. And when we look at history and we see how much we have come towards shifting our consciousness, and we are in this beautiful renaissance of consciousness where there's so many people hungry for information, hungry to see the change, starting to see the collapse of different expressions of spirituality that are no longer fitting what really resonates in our hearts, because we're starting to connect to our emotional bodies, we're starting to connect to our mental and physical bodies, and we're starting to see how we want that alignment, right? That is the purpose of us coming down into this earth, right? We come down to this earth because we're meant to shift forward. And yes, of course, we can look at it from the perspective of the oneness of the whole, right? But then also recognize that even if it's just one little shift in your life, one minuscule shift in your life that is happening, that is grand and is absolutely powerful. So, understanding that from when we go from oneness into this duality is here to serve us, right? It's here to teach us. But then also recognizing that we can exist in both, that we can unlearn, right, the duality. And what I mean by unlearning, I mean by no longer recognizing that this has to really take a hold of us, right? And really make it a full a full expression of our reality, like if this is the only thing. But when we can exist in both and see that both are part of our journey, and we can really integrate those two in our lives and see that duality is really working for us, and see that oneness is also working for us, and find ways to celebrate both in our lives, I feel that that's the invitation of this video today for you who's watching this, is to bring the understanding that yes, duality is there, and we don't want to deny it, because that is part of our journey. But then also remembering that there is a reason why we're learning this duality, and that we're alchemizing and we're learning because we have that reminder of the oneness all the time. And that reminder has been around for centuries upon centuries, right? That reminder of the fact that we come from that oneness. And that reminder is there for a reason. It's there because it wants to call us back into that space, right? It's there to give us the north of where we're going towards. Because when we come into this duality, we forget. And so, this invitation to oneness, or this invitation to recognize the oneness inside of you, and to see that that's where you're heading, and to be and exist in this duality, knowing that you're coming from this oneness, I feel it's the most beautiful thing that you can do for yourself in your spiritual journey. Understanding, and this oneness doesn't have to cancel out the duality, and the duality doesn't have to cancel out the oneness, right? They don't have to cancel out each other. They can both exist, because they both exist. That's the reality. They both exist at the same time. And that's the beauty of it. So, going back to what I was mentioning, when you're coming down here onto this earth, remember that you're here because you are incredibly powerful, because you have an incredible gift. And whether that gift is a spiritual gift, or specific creative gift, or a gift of teaching, or a gift of of support, or a gift of nourishment, whatever the gift is for it, expressing through you. Know that this gift is a divine gift that is fully and truly part of your journey, and that you're expressing it, whether you're making it a career or not, or whether you're fully aware of it or not. This gift is expressing in your life right now. And that's the beauty of it. That is because it's your essence, the essence of your soul, the essence of your of why you came here onto this planet, right? And you don't have to try hard. You don't have to look. You don't have to search for it, because it's always within you. It's always inside of you, and it's always expressing. Even at this moment, you're probably thinking, well, Jakara, I don't think that's expressing in my life. I can tell you that it's expressing somewhere, whether it's teeny tiny or whether it's grand. It's expressing at this moment. So I hope this video helped you understand the information about oneness. And I'm gonna leave on the description below the video that I did on soul relationships, because hopefully, while I didn't dive deep into the soul relationships, hopefully this gives you a different angle or a different aspect to kind of ponder on your interactions with other people, because these are other souls that are showing up in your life for a reason. Whether there are unsavory expressions or joyful expressions, they're there to teach us something. They're there to leave an impactful learning experience for us. And my invitation is for us to stay open to receive the lessons, and to stay with an open heart and receive that, whether it takes us a long time to receive the lesson or not. It's important that we stay open, compassionate, and accepting of where we are at this moment. We don't have to have everything figured out right now. But what we can do is to take one little step towards acceptance of what is at this moment. And we can take an additional step towards compassion and unconditional love towards ourselves at this very moment. And so, with that said, I'm going to leave you with this message. I'm going to ask you to definitely subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed, and then also share and like this video if this helped you and nourished you. And I want to invite you to find me on Meetup. I have a Meetup group. I'm going to leave the link on the description below, and I'm also going to be I'm actually going to be on the 28th of this month. I'm going to be partnering up with Maurice Sinclair, Hannah Benu, and Don Marino. All three of them have been here on this channel, and they're powerful healers. We're going to have a 2-hour retreat that we're offering, and I'm going to leave also the link on the description below. I would love for you to come. If you're going through your spiritual awakening, or you maybe want to experience, just take care of yourself energetically and receive some healing for a good 2 hours, then you definitely want to come. Maurice is going to be doing a shamanic journeying for all, and that he's going to be connecting you to your to one of your guides, to one of your spirit guides. And Dawn is going to be doing a crystal healing grid for grounding as well. And then Hannah is going to be doing a sound healing meditation, which I'm so and meditation and healing for us. And then I will be doing an Akashic record clearing for the collective. So I would love for you to come. Please do consider coming and participating. It's going to be packed with so much healing, so much fun, so much love, so much compassion. And I cannot wait to see you there. But for now, I will see you next week. And I love you all. And namaste.